Caitlin has not had a proactive approach around toxic fandom and what's appropriate for, or something that she celebrates or likes to see in her fan base, or being proactive against any type of hateful discourse around WNBA and its players. However, when she's been prompted, she has spoken very clearly on those matters and has taken a strong stance.
I really think one of the things that sets Caitlin Clark apart is her refreshing perspective. I'm going to be upfront about it. She's been outspoken in condemning racism and standing up for what's right. What's interesting, though, is how often the racism going the other way is overlooked, and no one seems to address it.
Indiana fever. We have to push this hate and jealousy to the side. It's so unnecessary. I hope that we move past it. She's elevating the game. She continues to do it and prove herself.
I'm sorry, but many people are facing attacks from Angel Reese's fans.
She has success. It's going to encourage and inspire other women to stand up.
You don't hear much about that, do you? Especially not from those in the media. Nah, it's not something you'll hear discussed.
Even though, I'm dead, Caitlin's doing it very subtly, if at all. Maybe it's all unintentional. But I do know she's the target. They're all trying to frame this, the Caitlin Clark deal, in this racial envelope. And they're wrong.
Now we're talking about RZ Gold, who recently appeared on the Dan LeBader show. It's no surprise that she chose this platform to voice her opinions on the social issues she's been facing. However, she's received a lot of backlash for her comments. I hope Caitlin Clark is aware of how all this might impact her own brand.
They're not talking about basketball because you don't want to talk about basketball, just as you described there. You couldn't get any traction based on your basketball. And so you decided, hey, we got to talk about racism and sexism to draw attention. We have to kneel during the national anthem to draw attention. It's bad strategy. You just wanted attention. You were being an attention whore.
Let's take a listen and see the reactions, as it seems she's really feeling the heat for this. Honestly, we can all tell that her political views likely differ from mine, but she hasn't fully dove into politics. So what exactly are they expecting from her?
Who plays good enough basketball to draw attention, and now people are actually evaluating my basketball. They're having conversations about, well, who's Rookie of the Year? Who's the MVP? Is it Caitlin Clark? Is it A'ja Wilson? People are talking about basketball.
Is it really necessary to be an activist to play in this league? It just doesn't make sense to me.
So this whole thing of, racism stopped the WNBA. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Here's the facts. Here's what's been the problem with the WNBA. Now, I'm sorry, these are just true facts. You had too many women tatted up and looking like men, that it was unattractive. People don't want to see that.
These players should realize that if she were to make an outrageous statement against white people, that's exactly what some seem to be hoping for, right?
Can we just call a spade a spade? Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, and in that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn.
Here's a little feedback on the situation.
Mm-hmm. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA. This has been happening. And that, I think, is what's been such a shock for all of us, that other people are surprised by this. We've been trying to tell you. And once again, for so long, as a player, I would almost joke.
She'd lose a lot of money for something like that. It's actually refreshing that she hasn't gotten caught up in all of it.
We started to learn that people were learning from us and able to follow us in a different way. And who are we following? Black women. So that's such an important part. And I think, again, I get sad when I talk about this a little bit in that we're still not talking about basketball.
No.
We're still not allowed to be focused on for our basketball play. And it's not to say we're not going to continue to combat these things. That'll always exist, I think, in the fabric of our league. But we still aren't talking about basketball. A little bit of an identity. We understood that in order to push our league forward, we were going to have to combat these things. And then you know what else we learned? It feels good to stand up for yourself. It feels even better.
All right, let's pause right there. Why isn't that enough? I honestly don't understand.
In so many ways, I would have loved to have been valued as a basketball player. I would have been loved to have been spoken about just for my play. I think everybody in the league can say that. But nobody ever let us do that. So what happened?
People don't want to see women doing an impersonation of men. I know that everybody in San Francisco and everybody on the left loves a drag show. But there are a lot of traditional sports fans who have no interest.
Caitlin Clark effect has now hit the WNBA. It has been announced today.
But the best basketball of the weekend, the best player in America, the best shooter in America, Caitlin Clark.
This is just crazy. Why do some people think others owe them everything?
Intrigued because there's a league with players that feel like they should be getting the attention. Now they have center stage, but the ratings are going to go down. How far, though?
This is just crazy. Why do some people think others owe them everything?
Before, the argument was the league is much more than this one girl that came into the league,
right.
And we've established it. And hey, look at the numbers everywhere else across women's basketball. It's not just Caitlin Clark; it's all of us. And then the moment the ratings tank, they're going to come back and say, "See, we were right all along. It's all the racists that follow Caitlin Clark that were watching the product, and now they're gone, and we're back with our diehards." And that's the ratings that you're seeing. Actual W fans, not WNBA. Actual W fans.
What gives them the right to make demands? It's really puzzling. This situation is only going to keep going, and Caitlin will continue facing criticism on the court.
Nike struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world are they ignoring her? And with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials. We have not seen any ads. We have not seen any Caitlin Clark merchandise. And we for sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark signature shoes.
The scary part is that Caitlin Clark could really get hurt in this situation. It seems like nothing will ever satisfy these critics, and they know that any backlash could damage her brand. They don't care about the consequences. They're not benefiting from it at all. It feels like they don't want her to succeed, and honestly, it seems like jealousy is fueling their behavior. She's already made her point, and it's time for people to ignore the trolls and strip them of their power. Caitlin doesn't need to comment on imaginary racism. It's understandable, but it's just wild. She doesn't have to be an activist. In fact, that kind of advocacy has made the WNBA less appealing. Just play basketball, for goodness sake. Why does it seem like every player in this league has to be some kind of activist? It's ridiculous. Caitlin has already stated, "I don't support this. I don't support racism," but that's still not enough. What do they expect from her? Should she dye her hair purple or something? I almost joked about her going blackface, but wow, that would really backfire, wouldn't it? Seriously, come on. She's just a walking example of indifference. Nothing to see here. Move along.
It's like, wow, Caitlin Clark comes out of Iowa, and I started saying after her junior year in college, like, hey man, she's the biggest star in college sports. And then after what she did at Iowa her senior year, I started saying, hey, I think she's going to be the biggest star in sports. And we've never seen this. This is a woman in America that is going to dwarf the men in terms of popularity and influence, driving. We haven't seen this since WNBA's never had anything. Nothing. Cheryl Miller couldn't really move the needle. Candace Parker couldn't really move the needle. Now they have this woman.
You wouldn't believe it. Nike has finally broken Caitlin Clark's silence, but not before Adidas.
Why isn't she being promoted, and how did Nike get her at such a reasonable, wasn't it a 22 or 32?
$28 million
$28
over
million
8 years.
Over 8 years. Like, that doesn't add up to.
Some of this might be a little bit of revisionist history. Going into we all sat here and argued that she should go back to Iowa.
Yeah.
Because she would die and get swallowed up in the WNBA and everybody would stop watching her. That's when Nike struck.
Adidas was well ahead, congratulating Clark on her Rookie of the Year success.
And my memory, and it could be wrong, but within 72 to what's 72 times 86, 96 hours? Is it 24 times 7 plus 96? Within 4 days, I'm telling you, I think I had pivoted to, I think I
definitely pivoted after the WNBA draft. For sure you were pivoted by then, so it was before there was a game.
Process of me going, I think this will be over, to, holy cow, this woman's going to be the biggest star in sports, and I'm not Nike. They're experts at this. And again, you weren't around at this time, but it's like when Michael Jordan left North Carolina, it's not just his size that two centers went ahead of him. No one fully understood what he was going to be in the NBA. And there's a guy at Nike that they made the movie about that Matt Damon played or whatever. But
what a fantastic first season. Congratulations to Caitlin Clark, the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year.
Instead of me just reading your stuff out loud, but back when Nike stock was around its all-time high, I wrote a 5,000-word essay on the corporation's awkwardly angry play for female customers. At the time I wrote it back in 2021, I couldn't foresee that the mega corp would sign history's biggest women's college basketball phenom in 2022. How fortuitous. I also couldn't foresee that this player would maintain the fame momentum through her interest into the WNBA, where she'd finish all first team as a rookie, and who could have predicted her games would average more than 1 million viewers, contrasted against the games of other players that would register 300K. Road arenas packed where she goes, crowds of girls wearing her jerseys. Nike signed her through 8 years at a cheap rate. You tell me that, and I assume Nike's doing fantastic in 2024 because it sounds like you're describing a billion-dollar athlete who suddenly appeals to previously unreached demos. The apparel behemoth has majority male customers and has long craved similar success with women. Fortunately, they signed the woman.
Nike's unattractive shirt celebrating Caitlin Clark's Roy Award sold out in just 50 minutes. That's the reward Nike gave Caitlin for her record-breaking first WNBA season.
I feel like it's fever, but it's also Iowa, so you get the best of both worlds. I have another one that you'll probably see me wear later on that is even more fever, so just wait for that one. But yeah, you got the yellow. They look a little similar to the Bruce Lees that I wear, but like still different. I like the gold swoosh. It's the black and yellow. You can't go wrong. It's just the best color. Honestly, I didn't design these ones. I just said, yes, I love them. Please give them to me. So they do their job. They do it really well, so they're pretty cool.
His signature shoe in his rookie season. When can we expect yours to come?
I don't make those decisions, so you have to wait and see.
If and when Kayla gets her own shoe, can we expect you to wear it?
For sure, anything for C-Square. She better give me all the colors I want, though.
Has she given you any hints as to what it might be like? Anything?
No, not at all. But I'm sure that when it comes out, she's gonna make sure that we kind of get an experience of it. That's just the kind of person she is. So I can expect once she establishes what she wants to do and how it goes, we'll be one of the first people to see it. I hope.
A t-shirt. That's it. Nothing was mentioned about her own shoes, while Aja Wilson has received promotions and is the face of Nike's WNBA push.
Yeah, obviously, Nike's been a tremendous partner and was a partner of mine through college, and deciding what I wanted to do professionally. That's just the brand that I always wore as a kid. So being able to be with them is a dream, and something I don't take lightly. And I'm not giving any teasers though. I don't do that. So wait and see. I don't know. And who knows? Maybe it'll come. Maybe it won't come. I don't know.